most people, and that probably includes you too, have convinced their own brain that they cannot do some things. And I'll give you a very simple example. If you're a shy person like I was a very fucking shy kid. I used to not even like going out with my friends, and I basically convinced myself that I liked staying here at home and play video games more than going out with friends. And I mean, obviously, let alone just meeting other people if I wasn't even comfortable enough talking to my friends. Yeah, so if you're in a similar situation, you have definitely convinced your brain that you are a shy person and that you can't go and talk to people because you are awkward or because you just can't talk to people. You're just not made for it. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is a this is a false belief that you've implanted in your brain. And I mean, again, I can relate. So, and I know it's pretty hard in these kind of situations, but it's like, if you don't act on this, you're never gonna try and get out of your comfort zone. You're always gonna stay in the same place, never gonna grow in life. And that's not somewhere you wanna be, probably. So, let's say that you need to recognize that there is a very thin line between impossible things, like objectively impossible, like saying you can fly out of the window. You can just fly in the sky because you believe in yourself enough. Like, that's bullshit. And there is doing hard things that you really don't want to do, but that you've probably convinced yourself that are impossible, like in the first case, but they're not. Like, you can do a lot more than you think, probably, because you have just these fucking beliefs in your mind that are not good enough. And since I've went through this, I want to teach you how to get out of the situation. Basically, the next time that your brain is telling you these stupid thoughts about not being good enough or just do something, you need to question yourself about the reason why you have these beliefs in the first place. So, to do this, you have 4 questions that you can ask yourself. And these questions are: is there any rational reason in such a belief? So, it's as easy as it sounds. You're gonna question yourself about this, and the answer might be yes, because if you're shy and you question yourself about if you actually can speak to people, is there any rational reason for this belief? Yes, because I'm shy. But this thing is probably gonna crumble in the next step. The next question is: could it be that I am mistaken in this belief? And the next question is: would I come to the same conclusion about some other person in a similar situation? And probably in these 2 questions, and most of the times actually in the first one, your beliefs are gonna crumble, and you're gonna start noticing probably something that you don't want to actually believe. Because if you're a shy person, you're probably gonna want to stay in your comfort zone. You're not gonna want to realize that you're mistaken, and you would really like to just stay in your own personal space and never get out of the comfort zone. But again, you really need to ask yourself these questions and want to know the answer. That's the key. You want to know the answer. Now, the last question is: why should I continue to act and feel as if this to act and feel as if these were true, and there is no good reason to believe this? Like, I've read it very badly, but why would you keep believing these things that are fucking fake and are doing nothing good to you. Like, these beliefs about not being good enough to go and talk to that girl or to go talk to your friends, they're not serving you. Like, they're not doing you any good. You probably feel like they are, because you get to stay in your comfort zone and you get to stay at home and play video games and shit. But in reality, if you were to look at it objectively, they are not good. And I can assure you that when I started to ask myself these things, like, I realized that it was basically just being a bitch this whole time, and that, you know, I actually couldn't do anything that was uncomfortable, and I tried my best to avoid this. But in reality, when you realize that these things you should try and get out of your comfort zone, then that's when your life changes for the better, obviously, because you start having more experiences, you start getting more friends, you start being closer to your friends that you already have, and it's just good in general. So it's definitely not easy to reprogram your brain like this, but I can assure you that from personal experience, it's absolutely worth it if you go ahead and ask yourself these things while wanting to know the answer. So yeah, catch you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed.